people's number one fear is not actually speaking in public. It's public embarrassment, and so people don't want to come shoot matches because they don't want to be embarrassed in public. But people who shoot matches are the most inviting, most excited people that you will meet. So if you're on the edge and you're like, oh, I don't have all the gear, I promise you show up to a match without a bag, someone will give you a bag. Yeah. And multiple people, as soon as
you'll probably get bombarded with that.
As soon as you say, I'm new, they'll be like, what kind of bag do you need? Do you need a bipod? Do you need this? Do you need that? Hey, you get the Clark after you finish the stage and said, if I could make a suggestion, and then they'll tell you how to shoot the stage after you've already shot the stage. Yeah. But if you've ever thought about it, it is, I guarantee you will get better at what you're trying to do faster by shooting a match, because failure is a great educator. And then you will have people with more experience that can tell you what just happened. He's a taxidermist, and so there's just like really bad like VHS video, and it's like a mount in the forest, and he's like, "Is that a whitetail? Nope, Chuck Testa." Just like,
I haven't seen those.
What?
Where are you going up there, squirrel? Okay.
I have to look that up.
Weird flex, but all right.
Yeah, it's kind of odd, but whatever.
Our camera guy is now crawling up in the bunk beds.
To each his own, I suppose.
He's got to get that third or fourth camera angle.
It's all about the angles.
That won't be the first time that Lloyd has somebody staring at him rubbing themselves.
Yeah.
This is. I saw the Connexes on the aerial photo. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
It's like memories.
Yeah,
right
this
here,
is
right?
deployment vibes.
Yeah, this is
some chew living.
Much nicer than the one I had. But here we are at SSD, right? What's it stand for?
Strategic Shooting Dynamics.
Or is it more than one dynamic, or
kinetic fundamentals?
Something.
Yeah, they got strategic and dynamics in the name.
Yeah, we need kinetic.
Yeah.
This is the kinetic. We're at the kinetic lodging, actually.
This is the kinetic part.
Southampton Institute for Technology.
Yeah, but we appreciate y'all guys. I know y'all have had a long day, so we'll get this started and moving. What time we starting in the morning?
I think zero's at 700.
Yeah. Gate opens at 7. We'll have the zero set up at 7. The safety brief will be at what, 8? You said. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm 0.
And then we'll be done by like 2.
Hopefully.
Nice.
Okay.
Before it gets real hot.
Yeah.
Okay, hot.
It's supposed to be in the 90s tomorrow.
Ugh.
I'm debating on shorts tomorrow.
It's Florida weather, so I looked at the weather and I was like,
no, shorts is. I mean, unless you got like the strap-on knee pads.
I do.
Okay, well then you'd probably be all right.
Okay.
That's not a surprise.
Did you have strap-ons?
I got them.
Go anywhere without my strap-ons.
Never leave home without it.
We try to keep. This is y'all's first time on the podcast, not your first time. This is an explicit rated podcast, so
if you haven't found that out already,
if you haven't figured that one out with the casting couch over there.
But on that note, I think that camera right there. That's good.
Is that the one? That's the one we're looking at?
Is that the main one? That's for me. Oh, I have my own.
You
have your own camera.
Yeah.
That's you three are on that camera. The one in the middle can see everybody, and that's the only one that can see you, Chris.
Yeah, this one. So if I lean all the way back, all you get is my Sons of Liberty.
TTPOA Sons of Liberty Gunworks.
Sure. Yeah, I should be getting my check from Mike.
So I'm looking at that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who you look at, but anyway.
But this is the Big Tex Ordnance Podcast. I'm Ike. We have Chris. And then today we have Ash Hess from Quantified Performance. And then we have Preacher, or Philip as he's otherwise known as. And then Lloyd from Sons of Liberty.
Representing a day at Strategic.
And y'all are the match directors, right?
Yes.
They are,
yeah.
yes.
Assistant to
the regional.
Deputy assistant to the match.
I'll claim it tomorrow after everything goes well.
Yeah.
Well, so far your signs look fantastic.
Yeah, those arts and crafts were really
Put a
nice.
lot of effort into that.
So everything that people love about the match, Lloyd did. Everything that they hate about the match, Jack Luba did. That is LUBA.
What's his official email address? So we can get that out there for Quantified Performance. We won't get
it's Jack at Quantified Performance.
There we
it's
go.
LEUBA.
I'll put it.
He's in
the link.
Indiana right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, guys, I know you've been working all day. We appreciate your time. A little bit, we'll start off talking about quantified performance.
Okay.
And we did a really good episode, or y'all did a really good episode.
Yeah, Shot.
At Shot on it and broke it down into it. And now we're 8 months into the 2024 season. So what's been going on so far in 2024, and what's looking forward in 2025?
So basically, I think we're at, without doing some beer math, since SHOT Show, season started right after that. I think we started mid-February, the end of February, I think, at Arena. Since then, I think we've got 24 or 25 events that's happened throughout the year. Championship is super tight. I think the top 5, I should have looked at it on the way in, but top 5 in each division is separated by, I think, about 4 points. So the way the season goes is your top 3 matches, whatever points that you get in that's what you have going into the finale. So the season is actually worth 600 points. We've got 3 or 4 dudes that have 300 points already, and the finale's worth 300 points. So they're like maxed out as much as they can, and that's in each division. So the divisions are pretty tight. This year for the championship, because we didn't know how many people were really going to sign up for the championship. This year we have 65 people signed up in the championship through all 3 divisions. So everything's about 20. Last year we had about 40, I think, like that. So just came up like that. Everything's pretty much settled out. People are shooting now just to catch up points. So we're coming in late into the series. We're getting queued up for the finale. If I have your email address, you're probably going to get, and this is for everybody out there, you're probably going to get an email from me very soon for sponsorship stuff for that finale. We're getting queued up for that. We're just setting up catering and doing all that stuff for the finale. So we're down to 3 or 4 matches before we do that. And we've had pretty much about 100 shooters per month. With having 2 matches a month, basically, is the way that kind of laid out. About 100 shooters per month shooting under the banner. Last year it was like, Quantified Performance is dying, and every year we're kind of like, did we do a good time? Did we do a good time? And then this year, it's just been 40 to 50 people signed up at every match. Doesn't matter where it's at. Big things that's happening for next year is we brought on. We had Arizona come on this year, and they did their first match even before SHOT Show. So Arizona's doing really good. Then in November, the finale's in October. Season actually starts the day after finale because we've got some places that shoot later on, like Arizona. But we've got a match happening in Arkansas and a match happening in Mississippi same time. We've got some folks out of Houston that we're working with, getting ready to start Houston going on. We're going to do a recon in Tennessee. Week after next, we'll probably pick up Tennessee range. We've got Iowa's still a little bit weird. We're still trying to finish Iowa up. We had a match in Iowa this year. We also got people talking about California. We got people talking about Washington State. Right now, as I'm building out the calendar for next year, because I try to have that done by the finale, so everybody can kind of have a warm and fuzzy on when everything's happening. We're probably going to end up at 50 events.
Oh, wow.
For 2025. So you think 5 years ago we had 1, and then we had 2, and then we had 2, and then we had 2, and then we had like 7, and then this year we thought we were doing super good at 27, 28, and then we're basically going to double that next year.
That's awesome.
And a lot of those we're bringing on match directors, and I've been at pretty much every match except for Arizona and Iowa this year, just because we're getting a bunch of match directors on. We've got Lloyd, as we already said. Lloyd's going to be Lloyd, and Preacher kind of split duties on match director here for this part of Texas. Basically just, brand stuff and just making sure that there's no questions and all that sort of stuff, and little jokes like everything that you love Lloyd did and everything that you hate Jack did, all that sort of stuff. But match directing is, everybody wants to be a match director until it's time to do match director shit. Yeah. And then when match director shit hits, they're like, oh, fuck, this is work. So we're trying to be there just to make sure everything's going on with the brand and everybody gets the same sort of, that McDonald's thing. You go to McDonald's and it's McDonald's no matter where you go, right? So we just want a quantified match to look like a quantified match, and that way everybody's on that same sheet of music. So basically, just with matches and all that sort of stuff, just growing well beyond what we ever thought that it was going to be doing. Like, we thought it was going to be 2 matches a year, it was going to be fun, and that was going to be it. And so that's pretty much what's going on, for next year, just getting that calendar set up and getting all that stuff going, getting all the match directors on. Tentatively, I should be doing match director at one match next year. It should be all the other dudes that are doing it for all the matches, and then finale we reserve for us. So that's the one match a year that we'll be running. So that's just kind of where we're at. We're working on, got a couple changes. This would be actually a good spot. So just real quick, not to steal any more thunder from Lloyd and Preacher, but so we got a couple changes that are happening for 25. Big thing is general purpose is dropping from, right now the general purpose you can have an optic that is 1.5 or below for a variable. That's dropping to 1.2. The reason we did that is we finally got some time on the March 1.5 to, I think it was 15? 15. So we finally got some time on that optic, and it doesn't fit, and there's other things that are real close to that. So that doesn't fit within what we want general purpose to do. So the easy way to do that is just drop that down to 1.2. Can't go to 1. True 1X sounds cool, and we always talk about it, but we got some really good optics that are in that 1.1 range, old short dots, the CQBSS. There's some really good optics out there that people are using that we don't want to take away.
Right.
So 1.2 is going to be the cat. We're going to be that. So 1.2 or below. So if you're getting ready to buy that March optic, you're ready to buy that March optic, sorry, you're kind of like the guys with 18-inch barrels. Sorry, got no place for you. There's a lot of people are complaining about that because they're like, well, what about this 2 to 10? Because you let a 1 to 10 be there, but what about the 2 to 10? We're like, well, 2 isn't much different from 2.5. And if you make the argument that 2.5 isn't much more than 2.
You got to make the line somewhere.
You got to make the line somewhere, right? Because then I can make the argument and just be like, well,
3.6 to 18.
Yeah, well, I got my loopy that's 3.6. Why can't I use that?
I can't tell any difference between 3.6 and 3. So now we end up with everybody with Mark 5s.
Yeah, that's what I'm shooting tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'd love to be a general.
You're like,
I guess I'm 1 to 10.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
So you got to draw that line. So we're doing that. Next big thing that's going to make some people sad pandas, some people it's not going to bother, anything like that. After the finale, there'll be no refunds on matches. That's just something that is just, it's too hard to track. Now, we reserve the right to give you a refund, right? And that sounds weird, but if you have something going on when you withdraw and you're getting deployed, you had a baby, you had something like that, put that in your little note that you want to withdraw, send an email. And I'm not saying that I won't give you a refund, but you just scheduling problems, stuff like that is too hard to track. And we've been trying to accommodate. I'm not saying that we want to accommodate, but generally you're not going to get a refund, and that's just something that's there. And then on the quantifier, basically right now we've got the stage that you shoot, and it's our standard stage. Shoot 2 standing up, then you go onto a ladder, and then you shoot prone out to the ladder. Well, right now you can have the bipod down or you can have the bipod up. Just depends on what you want to do with it. So the bipod's going to have to be up next year to start the quantifier. So you're going to have to deploy the bipod once you come off the ladder.
Gotcha.
So that's just some little thingies in there that we're just trying to, as we go through, as new technology comes in, we finally get eyes on. We've been tracking the March optic for 2 years now, but finally got on one. Somebody showed up with one, and shot a stage that just done with my GP gun, and it was even a Hellion, or the Hellion, the Springfield bullpup thingy. Never even fired one of those before, and rolled up on it with his ammo and data, and was like, and just like shot the stage better than I shot it with my GP gun. And I was like, because I'm sitting there at 12x, and I'm just like, hey, this is freaking great.
Yeah.
Right, and I got parallax adjustment and all these sort of things. So that's just kind of, but that's the big thing that. And there's not too many people spending $4 or $5 grand for an optic, but just in case you do, sorry. But that's some of the changes that are coming up.
How many points is a match worth? So while we're in the technical part of it, I want to ask this question: how much is this match we're shooting?
Yeah.
How much is it worth?
So per division, it's worth 100 points.
Okay.
But how that works is the fastest guy gets 100 points.
Right.
So your time based off of that guy's time, that percentage of that. So if your time worked out to be 20% of his time, then you get 20 points.
Okay.
Right. So beer math, if he shot it in 100 seconds and you shot it in 200 seconds, you get 50 points. Okay. Right. So it just kind of works down from there. But each one's worth 100 points. That's the max that you can walk away from. You're the fastest guy. But what's cool about it is that this match might be a 200-second match total. We've got some matches that are like, even with that same guy, is like 600 seconds because they're just longer to do, harder stages, longer to shoot stages, all that sort of stuff. But it's still only worth 100 points. So it doesn't get weird. You don't have to chase anything like that. So it's 100 points. And then so if you get 80 points this match, 80 points this match, and then you get 50 points this other match, that's when you can go to that fourth match to try and pick up those other points that you got.
Okay.
So, like right now, if you wanted to, you could shoot 3 matches in the final, and then that would, if you're good enough, that's the minimum that you can shoot.
That'd be it. That's all you'd have to shoot. But if you wanted more points, you can shoot more. Sometimes, and like I think Travis just shot an extra one because they got 100 and 100, and they had like 87. So he's chasing that 100. That's how tight that race is, that he's shooting extra matches to try and get in there, because the finale, the way it works is it's still worth 100 points because there's no way in practice score to make it worth 300 points.
Oh, gotcha.
So now we take that, whatever your points were, and multiply that by 3.
Okay.
So that's what your finale point is.
So your finale point is the finale score times 3.
Yep, times 3. So if you get 50 points at it, you're going to walk out of there with 150 points. Add it on to your other ones. So the guy that wins it is going to get 300 points. And then whatever, if it's probably one of the same dudes that's got 100 points already, he'll walk out of there with the full 600 points.
So at some point, you're going to be big enough to where you have to have a minimum score of 300 to go into the...
That'd be super cool. But for right now, prediction-wise...
There's 3 guys with 300 points now.
Right now.
And 2 of them are in the same division.
Yeah.
Practice.
So then,
And GP.
Preacher's
Is one of them Scott
Preacher's got
Peterson?
the website up right
Scotty
now.
P.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what we're thinking this year the finale is open enrollment, right? Anybody can show up at the finale.
That's cool.
But if we have another growth of the championship, because 80 people at a match is about the funnest level it gets, right? 30 people super fun, right? But having like a big match, 80 people is about, we do 8 squads. That's about 10 people per squad. That's about the right density, right? So anything over 80 starts getting wait times and starts getting a little bit stretched out, and it just gets less and less fun. So like this year we have 65 people signed up for the championship. So if all of those people show up, then I should only have 15 people that's out, like one squad that's out of the championship. So, and not everybody's going to show up because people signed up for it. Things change. But next year the finale is probably going to be invite only until all those people settle out. So up until like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the finale, if you're not in a championship, you won't get to sign up for it. And that's one of the reasons I want this to be a super big prize match, because the other matches, and we do prizes every match, but they're just not, they're in that $200 to $300 level prize. And because there's so many of them. Like next year we're gonna have 50 of them, so that's a lot of prizes that I gotta come up with, right? So if I was trying to get $5,000 tables for each one of those, I don't know that many companies that want to spend. So, but a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. I mean, things like I don't know what Sons of Liberty charges for a Cerakote job, but generally Cerakote is $100 to $200, right? So maybe even $300, just depending on the place, right? So that a Cerakote job on the table covers that one-day match. And it's a one-day match. You're done by 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It's not a big prize event. But that finale, if that thing is dripping with $100K with the prizes and it's invite only, everybody's going to want to get in the show. You know what I'm saying? We're almost
shoot multiple matches.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And almost to that same point, right? So then that's just what we're looking at. And then we're going to start. We're looking at a couple places right now. We're going to start bouncing the finale around. It's always been at Arena. Mm-hmm. That's where we started at. Arena's good for it. We're going to start moving that thing around as we get facilities that can handle some places as big as finale. Like we can do 8 stages here. 8 stages pretty easy. We could probably do 10 pretty easy. And then there's enough spot where we'd almost pull it off here without shooting the same stages over again on day 2. So as we start moving that thing around, as we start growing out west, because if we got Arizona. We got 2 spots in Arizona that we might be going. If we can get Vegas back onto the thing, we get Washington going. Now I need to start taking that. I don't want those people coming all the way from Washington every year to shoot the finale just because we started in Georgia. So move it out to Texas, move it up to Tennessee, move it out. Just be like, hey, dudes, sorry, this year you got to travel, and the finale is in here. High Bar Homestead, right, is like one of the places that I want to do the finale at, because nobody gets to shoot at High Bar. And so that's why I want to have the finale at some place where nobody shoots at. Because everybody's got that home field advantage, right? So they got their closest range. They shoot there 3 times. They know, where the wind kicks up. But if I take everybody and dump them in a spot that they've never shot before, it's like, all right, we're seeing who the best is. Good job, go for it. What you got? Yeah, it won't be me.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the way down here, on our 5-hour journey from Houston today, on the phone with Ike, talking about like, hey, we want to shoot more of these next year, right? Like I'd like to come out and I'm getting to shoot one at least. If I have a lot of fun, I've got my eye on the Arkansas match because it's close to home, like where I'm from. But man, next year I'd really like to go in saying, okay, hey, these are the 4 matches I'm going to shoot. That way, that's something to aim for, a goal on the table, right?
Yep.
So that's really cool.
So from like the shooter side and I guess now match director side, what's it like for y'all? What have y'all seen through this?
We did our first one last year here. Well, it was here and across the street over there. But we kind of went into that blind because I wasn't worried about match directing, so I wasn't paying attention to all the nuances at all the other places that we went to. And usually it was just the arena. I think before we did that one here, the only place I'd shot QP was at the arena. So everything I knew about, QP was there. And then we got here and we're like, how are we going to make this work? You know what I mean? So we're paying a lot more attention. Like when we went up to Iowa, we watched how he ran his, and we had some thoughts and came back and talked about, on our 2-day drive back, we spent most of that talking about, what we thought went well up there, what didn't, what we're going to do here when it's our turn, and just trying to smooth all that out so that there's no hiccups tomorrow. I've been not stressing over it, but thinking about it quite a bit because we had some problems last year and we don't want to repeat any of that. We want everybody to come out and have a good time and everybody leave the match and go, man, that was awesome. You guys doing this again next year? And we're like, yeah, we'd like to. So.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Looking at my point of view is like, I think last year part of it was we made it too hard.
We did.
And then this year, the goal was to make it fun. So, like, bigger targets, more information, and then trying to use this facility to its max because, you go and shoot like Vegas, and there's always a blind stage, and that's a lot of fun. Like you know the distances of the targets, but you don't know where they are, and you don't know the props, and you have no idea. And so you basically come around a corner, and it's just like, here it is, and you have to make a decision on the spot. And that's part of what we do is you look at this, you watch, unless you're going first on the quantifier like Lloyd has to do
every single time.
Every match. You get to sit there and you get to watch and you get to plan this stuff out. And you would think as match directors we'd have time to sit there and plan. We haven't planned. I didn't pull the trigger one time today.
Yeah, I don't have a stage plan for any of it.
Like that guy, I have no idea. So I'm just gonna. But I think last year's experience plus what we have seen at other places, we're much more concerned about flow and about having fun and about people wanting to do this more, because in my opinion, the thing that has popped over this last, I'd say year and a half is people wanting to make rifles do what rifles do well, and not shoot far away, right? And like all the burn it down stuff, that's fun. I mean, I've shot our local burn it down match. It's 5 stages and it's no more than 50 yards. I've shot that enough. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of good with that now. But like taking out a gas gun, and we even shoot PRS matches with gas guns. We just shot one a couple weeks ago. And seeing what they're doing and seeing the limitations of the system, but also like trying to pull what we can, at the same time making it fit like what QP is. If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. It does. and this has been a cool journey from me talking to you back. You've been busy. We haven't talked as much as we did for the between Joe moving on to Bruiser's class, right?
Yeah.
Moving up to that, we were talking a lot, and you were moving in like, hey, I think I'm going to shoot more of this next year. I'm going to move this. This is what we're working on. We're talking about optics and everything. And then I guess you don't like me, because you never talk to me. But
He didn't talk to anybody.
I was going to say, I spend more time with him
My
than
phone
with
works.
my
You
wife.
can call me. I mean,
Until I changed my phone number.
Oh, that whole thing.
Like,
Have
yeah.
you heard from Ash? He calls me. He's like, dude. I texted him. He's like, something. He's like, have you heard from Ash? I'm like, no. He's not responding to me either.
But he had me blocked. I don't know how he had me blocked. Like, I could send him a message on Facebook and he'd get it. I sent him a message on Instagram. Usually had a bird in it. He'd get that. I sent him a text. Nothing. Right? But he'd send me a text and I'd be like, yeah, dog. And then he would get the response then. But then nothing after that. So it was like
hey,
blocked.
blame my phone. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it works now.
Yeah, now I changed the numbers.
Yeah.
And
It
I got
works
around
just
the
fine.
block. And that's why I changed the numbers so I could actually text Lloyd.
It was that New York number you had. That just didn't work.
There was a New York number and a Georgia number.
Well, yeah.
So
I was like, this
Think-
motherfucker don't like me no more. I
Things
don't know
happen.
why.
I mean, you can either be mad about it or you can get over it. I mean,
let's back up a little bit because we just kind of introduced y'all, right?
Mhm.
We didn't really talk about where you've been, where you came from, what you're doing. We're just like, hey, here's two dudes, and they're in match directors. Right?
And assistant to the regional
And
match
you
director.
like it.
yeah.
These two
You like
random
it.
dudes.
Yeah.
We're
that
kind
we
of a
found,
big
right?
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know if you know who they are, but they're kind of a big
they're kind
deal.
of So
People
Lloyd,
know
if you
them.
will, since you're the first one over here,
Okay.
you're up first. So tell our listeners about you. a little bit. As much detail or as little detail as you want.
I won't go too deep into any one thing. Retired Army, did 22 years. Big chunk of it with that guy over there. Retired out of Colorado, moved down to San Antonio because he hooked me up with Sons and got me a job. So moved down here. Shot my first QP match, what's been 4 years ago now.
Yeah, about that.
Had some beginner's luck, did really well. I was like, I'm going to keep doing this. And then got a little bit too big for my britches and changed some things on my gun and went back down to Georgia and got my shit pushed in and had to rethink some things. But just been working for Sons for the last 4 years, up in the Cerakote shop now running that, and pretty much spending all my spare time and money shooting as much as my wife will let me. It's been a point of contention a couple of times, but making it work.
You get a lot of samples, right?
Samples?
Yeah, samples.
What do
Free
you mean?
stuff.
Every once in a while.
No, yes, you
Yeah.
get a lot,
You
you
get
get a
a
lot
lot
of.
Get some free stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm glad my wife doesn't listen to the podcast because I was trying to explain why Cry sent me a pair of pants.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And she's like, "Oh, sure. What's so special about them?" Well, I'm kind of a big
There's
deal.
a
I'm an
hack.
influencer.
They sent me-
There's a marriage hack for that.
Yeah.
Separate checking accounts.
Yeah, we all know. I know about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You want them in a raffle, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Babe,
Price.
I got it at distributor price. I didn't pay full
I got to
price.
come up with something that's on the prize table this time.
Yeah.
I win.
Me too. Me too. I need to shoot well enough to even.
You're like,
pretend.
babe, I want a new Knight's gun. It was great.
Where you at? Do we have any left?
No, they sold out. Yeah, like when do you try to buy 5?
Wow.
Yeah, we got some 16-inch SR-15s in. We put them up today, and yeah, when do you try to buy 5? So
Yeah.
He was going to flip every single one.
Oh yeah, no,
to pay for the one.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Smart
built.
move.
I built
He did-
so
he-
many
he did
guns.
We're not
the
sending
first-
5. I just want to. We're not sending him 5. He tried to buy 5. He checked out with 5. He's getting a refund on some of them.
Nice.
I built so many guns the first year and a half that I worked there that now when I just bring another gun into the house, she just assumes that it's. No, babe, I just repainted an old one, and it's she doesn't look in the safe, so it's not that big a deal.
And preach. Let's talk about where'd you come
Yeah.
from?
I'm an East Texas kid, so I grew up in a small town, East Texas, just north of where you guys are. Nothing special. Went to school. The nickname is because I'm an actual pastor. Me and 2 other guys were elders at a small church there in San Antonio, went to Bible college and moved to San Antonio. That's where my folks were, and so I had worked at a couple of different churches, and then I was actually working. Had a really sweet government gig. I was working there at Fort Sam, and COVID hit, and they were like, "Hey, contractors, we don't need you at all, and you're gone." And so my contract wasn't renewed, and the guy who was previously in the Cerakote shop, I just started bugging him. Like, "Hey man, y'all got anything? I'll intern, I'll do whatever." And so I just kept bugging him, and then I finally got an interview, and went to the interview, and I got nicknamed at the interview. And so it stuck, and more people know me by Preacher than they do my actual name. Sometimes it kind of throws me off when people call me by my name, but it is what it is. And so I've been working for Suns for 3 years. I started out in shipping, and then I moved over to the bench, and I'm technically now a senior armorer. I don't know what that means, but I build guns all day. I do a little bit of some of the logistics for our events, so like making sure guys get the stuff and making sure they've got what they need, and then I've been shooting with Lloyd. He took me to my first QP match. He it wasn't really a hard choice because it was the first match that we went to was in Vegas. It was a memorial match, and it was a phenomenal match, and I had great fun, and their prize table was great. I went up there, and I got a short action precision bag, and I'm like, this is great. And then, of course, that bit me in the butt the next time I went, because in an x-ray machine, it's about like this big, and it just looks like a bag of cocaine. And they're like, yeah, our robot went off, and I was like, it's got gunpowder residue on it. And they swiped it, and the lady goes, it had gunpowder residue on it. And I was like, told you. So we've shot.
Do you still have it, or do they confiscate
Oh no, I
it?
totally have it. Yeah, they just put it back in my bag. I'm like, okay, have a nice day.
Oh, nice.
We
guess if it's not
pre-warned them
drugs.
now, like, hey, there's a bag in there that probably has some GSR on it.
Yeah.
So
And they're like, oh, okay.
go ahead and swipe that.
See, I go the other
Let's
way.
get it over with.
I get all surprised. What?
That's what happened when they found a knife in my bag, and we were on our way to somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, we shot Iowa, we shot Florida, we shot Georgia. Arkansas sounds fun. So yeah, do the same thing, as much shooting as I can.
Our Arkansas is going to be fun. Our Arkansas is so the match in Arkansas, and we haven't talked about this a lot, but just about time, just because I haven't want to distract. Right, so the match in Arkansas is happening at a farm, and you're going to be shooting off of like real farm implements and hay bales, and literally it's going to be a match. If you were just hanging out in Arkansas and the harvest stopped and you just started slaying targets, that's what this match is going to be.
Oh, that'll be cool.
So it's an overalls match.
Yeah, it's
Must wear overalls to compete
okay.
in said
It
match.
is going to be super cool, and that's what we want as we go to these other locations. But people are like, hey, I want to do a match, and just be like, hey, as close as you can get to natural, like we can go anywhere. If we start shooting off of props like a barricade or a PRS barricade, it doesn't matter if you're in Pig River, you're in Arena Training Facility, you're here. You're in Yuma, Arizona. If you're shooting off a PRS barricade, you're shooting off a PRS barricade. There's the wind and conditions like that. You're not doing anything special. But but if I'm going and I'm shooting off of like dude's tractor that is still hot from the harvest because he turned it off to shoot the match, that's cool. And the stump that Granddaddy's been shooting deer off of for the past like 45 years, and we're going to shoot from that stump. That sort of stuff just makes that location super cool. And we had one location that's cool, but as we have we have, like they say, these 50 events happening all over the place, and we got all these little weirdo locations. You're just like, I want to go shoot Arkansas because I want to shoot off Grandpappy's stump. And that's just that's what we wanted. So as he's developing this stuff up, literally it's a farm is stopping so he can set up for the match, and then gonna blast on it. So that's gonna be a good time.
And that's in the extremely flat portion of Arkansas.
It's in the upper northeast corner.
Yeah. So you're gonna have some good terrain for that.
Yeah, and there's like a pond there that you're gonna be shooting across.
Oh,
and,
nice.
just like literally, it's just gonna be like you pull up to dude's farm and shoot guns.
That's gonna be
it's
cool.
Gonna be super cool. And we got the Mississippi match, and that range is a little bit more filled out. It's an actual range. That one's gonna be good too. A little bit weird. They're literally on the same day, so it can be a little odd. But we drew straws, and I get to go to Arkansas, and Jack's going to Mississippi. So
Fantastic.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So on the divisions, can you talk a little bit about those and what qualifies for each division, and if that's changing or not in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much GP is pretty much settled other than 1.2 that we already talked about. So general purpose, basically, what we wanted is we wanted people to have like either their Army gun, Marine Corps gun, general purpose rifle, and then I call it the primary and secondary rifle, right? Because that's just primary and secondary is big, but basically 16-inch carbine with a 1-2 whatever, because we didn't want to restrict it I hate rules. Like I hate rules. Anybody that knows me knows that I hate my own rules, but I have to have them, right? So what we didn't want to have is like other style of matches. Technology happens and they don't make the change. Like red dots on pistols. Red dots on pistols have been around for a really long time, but it's been in recent memory, and I don't even pay attention. It's been in my recent memory that they added red dots to some of these pistol divisions, right? So we didn't want technology to be like stalled out, and the division's not adjusted to that. So it's basically 1 to whatever. We like the March. I like the idea of the March, but technology-wise. But basically, if you have an average AR. Doesn't even have to be an AR, but if you have an average gun, 16-inch length that you have at home and you're doing other things with, that you're out here shooting a 50-yard, bays, or you just have, you go down to the store and you buy a non-NFA 16-inch gun, to where you can be. I used to say you can be competitive with it, but that's got all weird and people argue with me on it. You'll have the ability to hit all the targets with that gun. Now, you're going to be competitive. You're going to win. These guys are good. These guys are in the top 10. They're good. Well, I won't even say top 10 because I'm in the top 10. So let's say top 5. top 5, those guys are good, right?
Checking.
So he's
got the standings pulled up.
Yeah, you can show up with that gun and be able to have a good day, right? And then practical precision is based off of basically the semi-auto sniper type rifle that's done a lot of work, and we're just gonna go with the M110, 20-inch 7.62 gun with a 20-round magazine. Right, there's a lot of work done all the way down back into the 90s, and not just with the SR25. The Scar Heavy was about the same sort of setup gun. Was it the 20S, whatever that thing is? The more precision Scar, still 20-round magazines, still 20-inch barrels, still 7.62 gun. Those guns have done a lot of, and that's not counting in police stuff, because police have a bunch of different brands and stuff. There's a whole bunch of people that make a 20-inch. Sons of Liberty makes a 20-inch, 7.62 large frame gun, right? So those guns have been doing a lot of work, but that's basically been kind of the standard for sniper dudes with semi-automatic systems, that max of 20-inch barrel and a 20-round magazine. So precision's based off of that. And so that the optic is whatever. You can put a Hubble telescope on it. You can have a red dot on it. Whatever you want. Good luck, right? So it's just that gun. So some of the stages, we're going to start leaning in just to do a rules check. We're going to start leaning in some stages that are 20 hits or 22 hits or something like that, because it's real easy to know if you're cheating in practical if you don't change a magazine on a 22 round stage. Right, because if you're, I'm in practical, right? Oh, well, you sure went a long time without a reload on there, buddy. It's just because that's what we're running into. We're starting to get some dudes that are either bypassing the rules or skirting the rules, and then why have rules if you can't enforce them? So we're looking at ways to enforce them without having to enforce them, right? And that's just the easy check. Yeah. Hey, that guy's practical and never reload his magazine on that stage. Hey, dude, let me see your magazines. Okay, so now you're in open. Good luck. And that brings me to open, and open should be our biggest division, like it really should, because open is, as the name is there, open is anything that you want to do.
Wild West, huh?
It should be. Like, dudes should be building some guns that don't make sense, right? Like race guns, like the 6 Max. We'll just beat on 6 Max a little bit. Why would you not take it and build a 20-inch 6 Max gun? And you don't even have to have a 20-inch, but I don't know how it does in 22. But a 20-inch and 6 Max would probably be about the most you're going to get out of that.
No.
No?
I was running a 24 for
Screaming.
the first half of the season, and it was, I mean, aside from being really heavy,
There's
Major
still more to get out of it.
it was a laser beam.
Yeah, so 22-inch 6 max gun, and you put something light on it like a Mark V or something like that, and it saves some of that weight, and then you put freaking D60s in it, or the biggest 6 max magazine that you can get, 30 or whatever, something like that. You think about something with like a Black Arc 5.56 gun where it's got high velocity in it, and it's a 20-inch thing anyways. Like 20-inch with 77 might be fine. But you go with like the Black Arc and you go with like a D60 on it, and you got the big scope on it with the red dot on it, and you can pretty much do whatever you want. You just go out there and slay fucking targets. Like open should be way more popular than it is. But then when you look at the dudes that are shooting open, and you can kind of see why, people don't want to get into open, because you've got guys like Lane and Keith. Mm-hmm. Keith is a beast. Like Keith just kind of cruises in the back, because Keith's just like laid back Florida man, and he just rolls up and he starts shooting, and you're just like, holy fuck, right? Because Keith is there, and Lane Accord was with the AMU. He got out. He's out in California now. And there's stories of Lane beating gas gun guys with bolt guns on short range stages. Like they were like shooting from a boat, and they were all shooting out at property and stuff like that, and they're all out with their gas guns trying to shoot targets, and Lane's just like pop pop, man, shooting as faster than gas gun guys with the bolt. Lane's fast too. But open basically is whatever, and whatever you want to do, whatever blows your dress up, so you can get in there and you can go explore all that sort of stuff. And you're just like, well, what if I had, I've got this 6 max gun, I got this what's that, Ridgeline, got this Ridgeline gun. Let's max out this Ridgeline gun, and let's just take this gun, let's throw a big scope on it, see what it does, run it in open for a little bit, and you just max out the gun, just see what the capabilities are of it. And that's what I was going to shoot open this year, and then my open gun was not open, so I ended up in GP. Yeah, it's just been, dude, the shooting this year, terrible. Every conceivable problem that you could have. I've had optics problems, I've had gun problems, I've had ammo problems, I've had, and I know there's one big problem, but I haven't figured out how to solve it yet, and that's the Ash problem. I can't seem to get rid of that guy, get that guy deleted, but that's like, it's been one of those years that just haven't been able to get shit hooked up the entire year. So
what are you shooting tomorrow? We're fixing to do a round robin here. What are you shooting tomorrow?
I'm shooting I jokingly nickname it a KS1L. There was a handful of lightweight profile 13.7 barrels that were made. That one of those just happened to be laying around, so it got stuffed into that gun. So it's basically a KS1, but KS1 has a heavy profile dumper barrel. This has basically what matches the 14.5 carbine profile barrel in it. I'm shooting that with the Trigicon Credo 1-10. Trigicon got that to me a while back. This will be my second match on that optic. That's been doing pretty good so far. Nothing crazy with it. Like I'm not losing because of that optic, right? Yeah. And it's like I say, it's only my second match with it, so it's got a big SRO on top, which I didn't know if I was going to like that or not, but I kind of like having that big SRO up on top, because you basically at 12 o'clock you can get that on the target and get the dot pretty close, and then just roll in onto the gun, and then your optic's right there. So I haven't played with that a lot, but the little bit that I played with it, I'm like, all right, I'm seeing this, I'm digging it. Then using Hop Munitions 77 grain, and Max and those people over at Hop doing really good stuff. Should be back on the Shank 75 grain. Should have a bunch more of that in by the finale. They kind of developed that, got that built up. I'm getting 2,600 feet per second, 2650 out of a 13.7.
Nice.
Out of that. So that should be where I'm back to. But that's what I'm running for tomorrow, and a game changer, little tiny game changer. I came on the airplane, so got that. Got a pint-sized game changer, maybe just a schmedium. I don't know. They all look alike, but 2 magazines. That's what I showed up with: a 20-round magazine, a 30-round magazine. 250 rounds of ammo that I shot some of today, so I got like 220 rounds, and That's it. I think I got a sling somewhere, but
We got
That's
stuff
it.
for you if you need
Yeah.
it. We got you.
What do
I
you got, Chris?
Got you covered.
I've got my FCD Sons of Liberty build.
Nice.
So 14.5.
Hard mode. Nice.
Yeah.
14.5 precision barrel, right?
Excellent.
On a FCD ambi lower with FCD. I mean, it is ducked the fuck out. If there is sauce available, it is on there. Like, I mean, seriously.
I actually have a Picatinny Chick-fil-A sauce holder I could have brought for
We can
you.
put it on there.
Yeah.
We can put it on there. And that's just something that we know when I've told the story about me interacting with Roger when he was with Bad 14 years ago, interacting with that dude. When I started working for Ike, I was like, oh, cool. Oh, I actually know this. I've talked to Rod. At some point, I am going to build an FCD gun. So I started acquiring parts. And it took me about 2 years to get all the parts that I wanted for on this gun. I've shot it at a couple bruiser matches or bruiser industry classes. One with Preacher, three with Ike that we've been to. And it is a solid 700 and in performer all day long. I've got a EOTech Voodoo 1-10 on it with the SR5 reticle, and then I've taken my accoutrement red dots off of it, so there's no red dot. I've got a Area 419 rail on it, and I'm running Area 419 Arca rail
yeah.
on the bottom, FCD rail, of course, and then Huxworks Bentham 556 on the suppressor side, which do a lot of people shoot suppressed or no?
It's really
It's kind of hit or miss. We've been to some where almost nobody is, and then we've been to some where we're the only guys not.
Okay.
And then he starts, calling us uncivilized for
Yeah.
shooting
It
unsuppressed.
is.
It is.
I mean, it
I like
can
it.
be. It can
Shoot.
be.
And
and that's fine. I'll take that all day.
Yeah.
But when my gun does this,
Yeah.
mine
I don't
does that
care.
too. You haven't shot the new setup with the 14.5.
no. I shot your old one.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
smooth. It is continually smooth.
It's a really
Very
good.
good, very good performer. And shooting ammo wise, I had to borrow ammo.
Yeah.
I don't think Ian expects it back, so I'm good there. 77 AAC that chronoed around 2640. So we're getting good.
14.5. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5.56 loaded stuff. So we're looking pretty good. I was really worried yesterday when I chronoed it because I didn't hit paper at all at 100. And then I realized last time I was shooting at 7,
You didn't
I
dial
didn't
it back.
dial it back. And I'm like,
It's a
I
rookie
know I
mistake.
put some
You
rounds
hate to see it.
in the roof of the range. I am sorry for that. but
I've never. have-
Don't do that tomorrow.
no, we're good. We're good. We're zeroed. We're ready to go. What about you?
So I brought 2 different guns. Hopefully I'll get my ammo when we're done with this. For my 6 Max, I have a 20-inch 6 Max full Suns build, broadsword, receiver set. Was it M80? We have the M89 rails on those. Shooting the Suns 20-inch 6 Max barrel. I got a 419 break on it, so you'll love that. It's got
Get
a
far away from you.
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll be on
what squad are you in?
yeah, we'll be on different squads. You'll be fine. You'll probably still hear me, but
There's a reason for that.
what else? It's got a Vortex Strike Eagle that I got off the prize table last year at the championship,
Nice.
5 to 25, and then I have a Aimpoint T2 on top of it because it's open, so I can do whatever I want. PRS light stock. I'm running the BC Precision ammo, the 103 grain ELDXs. They're pushing 2730, 2740-ish. If I don't get that ammo, I've got an 18-inch Suns gun with a precision barrel in it, shooting 69 grain Match Kings. Got a loopy Mark V 3.6 to 18 on it. So either way, I'll be good.
Y'all did a good job on those precision barrels.
They are shooters for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think.
And they really like that 69 grain.
I need to
Match
get some.
King.
I haven't tried it. I was talking about that.
Yeah,
when
we
down here.
were talking about that.
Yeah,
That we were talking about your conversation.
Yeah, I need to try some of it because it shoots the 75 grain AAC. Awesome. It shoots 77 grain. Awesome. Like it shoots better than I can shoot it, like easily. What you got, Preach?
20-inch 6 Max on a FCD lower, and then a broadsword, the Gen 2 broadsword upper with the M89. So I'm running a full-length Arca rail that I picked up off the price table, so that was cool. And then I'm running a Steiner 6-30 because I'm in open with a offset red dot. Because turn it sideways, it's a kill shot. So turn it sideways, and it's a lot of the same stuff. PRS light, area 419 brake, and then I'm running a Timney 2-stage, which I just got a while back, and it is it's a tunable trigger, and it is really, really nice. I prefer a 2-stage over a single for this kind of stuff, just because I like knowing that I have a little bit of take-up. I was running an SSP, but that is a surprising trigger. If you don't like mentally say, okay, as soon as I think about pulling this trigger, this gun's going to go off.
That's what I've got in mind. It's a little spicy.
I've got a Big Tex 2-stage in mine, available only at BigTexOrdnance.com.
Or any place where Schmidt triggers are sold.
Nice. It's got proprietary springs.
So I have a Lloyd Taylor trigger story.
Let Ike do.
As soon as you get done, I got a Lloyd Taylor.
I'll make this quick then because I want to hear the story. I got a Hodge 14.5 Mod 2. Got a Loophole 3.6-18 on it. I'm shooting some slow 223 ammo. It's a gold medal match. I'm getting about like 24.35, I think is my average today when I zeroed. I need to get to a 5.56 round, get some more velocity out of it. Super accurate, it's just not very fast. I think that's about it. Got a little wee bad donut or whatever bag. And I think that's about all that's fit to print. I have a suppressor, a little Mini 2 on there. So I'm civilized.
Good, you're civilized.
Yeah. I'm considerate, you know?
You might be able to see. It's back there in the corner.
Oh, actually, yeah, it is. So, show and tell.
Yeah. And we'll have some more. We brought the camera guy with us. So if you're watching this, you will probably also be able to see the QP match documentary that we will be filming tomorrow. And we'll be going more in depth on the guns here and some other guns too.
Triggers, yeah. LaRue 2-stage. I love 2 stages. The LaRue's actually been pretty good. I've been a Geisley super dynamic enhanced for forever, and then the LaRue's came out, and they're cheap, they're great, and I like them quite a bit.
Yeah, and some good dudes up there.
Yep. Oh, and of course, Badger C1 mount.
Yeah, gotta have the Badger.
Yeah,
mount.
C1 is the way.
Is the standard.
Yeah, it really is.
Yep.
Hey, is that offset dot? Is that going to put me in open?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
I've got a bikini cover on it, so I'll just leave the bikini
just don't
cover
use
on.
it.
Yeah, you stick to 20-round magazines, you'll be practical.
Cool.
Because you're a big scoop.
Yeah. Anyways,
So,
story time.
Once
story
upon a
time with
time,
Ash.
no shit, no lie. We're in Fort Drum, New York. We're down at this. We had this little terrible range in Watertown. Like it was not bueno. Like I don't even know if it actually went to 100. Everybody just agreed that it was 100, and it was like whatever. So I'm shooting something, zeroing up my gun. I think it was just some retarded stuff. And Lloyd brings his hunting rifle with him.
You love that gun. I still have that rifle.
So he's like fighting with his gun. And he's just like fuck this gun, and asked me to like shoot it or something, check it, something fucking weirdo. Well, what Lloyd doesn't tell me, and I don't know if this is on purpose or not, but what Lloyd doesn't tell me is this thing's got like I don't even think it was like 0.1 ounce triggers on it. Like everybody talks about hair trigger, but it's not even hair trigger. like you can go like that and feel a hair. So it's 7mm Magnum, and this thing is just like a fucking howitzer, right? And deer hunt gun, all wood stock, all pretty. I don't even remember what scope is on it. So I crawl up on the gun, get up in there, and I went to feel where the trigger was, not like stage the trigger, like where is trigger? Because I'm looking down the scope, and this fucking howitzer goes off. And 7mm is not fun. It's not fun when you intend on shooting it, and when you're not ready to shoot, you're just trying to figure out where the controls are, and it goes off. You don't get very happy. And I think Lloyd fired like one more round out of it, and we declared that the zero was perfect on it. And
it was. I shot a deer that season with that rifle.
Yeah,
it was good to go.
So he doesn't. He just wants to shake it, and the gun goes off.
For a gun like that, yeah.
Did the scope get you?
No, scope didn't get me, but I don't think I can move my arm for like at least 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's one of those guns you go out and shoot like 4 or 5 rounds just to make sure you're still zeroed for deer season, and then you put it away.
I would say that story is God, that's got to be almost
When was
almost
that?
a 20-year-old story.
That had to have been 04, 05, something like
Yeah,
that.
something because I think it was before the deployment. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
had to have been 04.
that's like a 20-year-old story, and I still remember
Mm-hmm.
getting fucking kicked in the shoulder by a mule.
He
Yeah.
tried to get me to shoot that gun, and I.
No, that was my out 6 that I brought
Okay.
out that day.
Yeah.
That one's
I-
not quite as bad.
And he's laughing about it now, but that gun had him hurting so fucking
Oh,
bad. He wasn't laughing about it that day either. He was just
I
like,
got
"My bad."
scoped by that gun shooting that deer. It was not fun.
Yeah,
I shot
With
my
that
dad's
hair
once.
trigger.
But yeah,
yeah.
mhm.
It's just and heavy recoiling guns is cool, but I did not feel I had any control of that gun because it was just like you're like, bow.
Yeah, that was a Winchester Model 70, the lightweight sporter with the composite stock and the pencil barrel. It maybe weighed like 6-7 pounds. It was like,
Oh man,
yeah, no break.
and that caliber is
Yeah, and 7mm Magnum is not to be messed around with if you don't know
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Oh man,
Yeah, good times.
So how many shooters we got for tomorrow? It looks like a pretty good. Pretty good
I
amount.
thought it was 35 when we started off the day, and it's sitting at, I think it was 48 once we added Lloyd and Preacher in. I think
wow.
it was 47, 48.
be a big day.
So it's going to be,
Gonna be 50.
you're gonna go play with squads. Gonna find some signal, play some squads a little bit, get everything bounced around, and then we'll get started in the morning. We'll start rolling through, kicking. Should be able to get everything done, and so for quantified matches, and since we're talking about that and the match directing and all that sort of stuff, basically we boiled it down into it's kind of like that. You can get fast, cheap, or what quality is that? what
Yeah,
we always
good,
talk
fast,
about?
or cheap, but you only
Right.
get 2.
You only get 2. So with quantified, you can have a rickety prop, you can have small targets, and what was the third thing? It's had it in my head. It's been a long day. I started off the day at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. in Florida, and it's 10 o'clock in Texas.
I don't remember what
So-
the third thing was.
But anyway, so
you get something there.
yeah, you get something there. But basically, what we're not doing is we're not doing small targets on a rickety prop, or and basically stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we're doing it. They talked about having fun earlier, and it's still a precision match. But basically, what we found is any target smaller than like 3 minutes, people stop having fun, right? And you break it down, and we talked about it with Travis, one of the other match directors, on his Instagram. People are coming to the match to shoot targets, right? Not everybody's coming to the match to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's coming to the match like to super compete, right? People are coming to the match to shoot targets. Nobody wants to go anywhere and not hit targets, right? Nobody wants to pay like $100 to get into someplace to miss targets, right? Missing a couple targets, right? But when they start stacking up and you're just like, hey, this wasn't designed for my gun. And that's kind of how we did that balance. So people have the most fun with about an average 3-minute target. And if you're into the mil stuff and you want to look at it in mils, that's basically a mil. So if the target is a mil high or a mil wide, and we're looking at doing refinements on that. But if I don't go out and buy a whole bunch of circle steel, you're going to have targets that are not necessarily, but basically in that same spot. Generally, most of those targets are achievable in hitting, and that's where the speed comes into it. Because if you're a good shooter with a good gun, then you should be doing that stage super fast, and that's where the competitiveness is going to be. It's not necessarily getting all the hits on the targets. The competitive is going to be about speed, and that's one of the reasons it's shoot fast, shoot far, because speed has always been part of this game. It's a drag race, right? So by going with like last year, we had some targets that were a little tight, a little small, and then a couple other times we had some targets that a little tight, a little small, and the matches that majority of the targets were like that. Excuse me. People are just not having fun. People aren't having fun, they don't come back. Right. So we're kind of doing that balance, and looking at the stuff today. Lloyd and Preacher did their homework. And looking through the stages, and I shot one stage, the quantifier, and I've shot the quantifier like 27 times this year, so no advantage with me shooting a quantifier today. I'm still gonna suck at it, don't worry. But the other stages, Super Bowl achievable, you should be able to do it super fast. Can't do it super fast, then somebody's gonna probably beat you. But it should all be, you should get most of your hits. If you don't get a hit on something, it's data. It's not my gun wasn't capable of doing that. Yeah. It should, you weren't capable of doing it with that gun. So now you know what to fix. And that's really what we want, coming out of these things. Now, because we've got friends that are instructors, and we've got you guys that are sponsors, and we got all this sort of stuff. So somebody shows up with a no-name rifle, with a not bashing anybody's name scope on it, with Joe Bob's trigger in it, and literally an army sock filled with sand. They shoot the match, and they're not going to have a good a day as other things. And then they go, okay, well, where do I get this? Where do I get that? Where do I get this? And we've got you guys that are carrying a bunch of stuff, and then I got Llamas and Shooter Supply that's carrying a bunch of stuff. Because Llamas just became an Armageddon gear, dealer. I don't know if you're dealing for Armageddon gear or not. Sorry, I don't.
There's plenty of places to buy that.
Oh yeah,
right. But
we know we're not the only ones. So
and then people go, okay, and just like, I need a bag, and then they can go here and do that sort of thing, and then they get the bag, and then they start doing those other things, and it just kind of feeds into that, and then they can find where those things fail at, and then they can go into the other things. Like, there's a guy that's been shooting Anderson lower for like the 6 years that he's been shooting QP, and he's not losing because it's the Anderson lower. As much as we want to say that, considering who we got in the room, we got Sons of Liberty and a nice armament, but that kid is not losing because it's the Anderson lower. Right, he focuses on other things, and that's what we want. We want people to see how far their gun can go, and a lot of time, there's only one winner per division, and that guy gets a prize. And we got some extra stuff this time because we got a bunch of people here, so maybe third place or fourth place is going to get a prize, which is super cool. It's not the norm, The fastest guy, there's only one winner, and at the end of the year, there's only one. There's going to be three winners, or two winners. There's going to be the division winner, and then there's going to be the match winner for each of those divisions. And odds are high, it's probably going to be the same fucking dude. Right? So really, there's only one. He just won twice at the same time, right? And so the rest of the field, 47, 48, whatever we got tomorrow, you got three winners, one per division. So the rest of the field, we're all trying to build up skills. We're all trying to do stuff because we all want to be that winner guy. And if we're at the bottom of it, we're just trying to figure out, we're trying to figure out where the bullet is going. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's just I'm shooting that way. The bullet should be going here. It's from my data that this guy had me download yesterday on this app that I never even heard of before. It says it's supposed to be going here, but by the end of the day, you've got that. One of my favorite stories about QP, well, I've got two. First one is Christina Ryan. And Christina's been around for a long time. She's with Blue Force Gear. Mm-hmm. So Christina came to the match, and she's like, I've never done this before. Never done long-range shooting before. So her 2-day match, and it was 2 one-day matches, was basically a 2-day carbine class. But it was focused on QP, and it was stage, AR to stage, fix this, stage, AR, fix this. We did that 8 times on Saturday, and then we started doing that. We're doing the same thing on Sunday. She made some gun changes, shot a different division, didn't matter. Made some gun changes, came back. Like Sunday, like midday, like Saturday, it was a lot involved with it. I said, hey, you doing this? Hey, you doing this? And then Sunday was like, first stage of the morning, things here. Last stage of the day. And I was like, because I had her data, because she didn't have a ballistic, app on her phone, so I had her data plugged into on one on my phone. I'm like, hey, here's your data. Go forth and do great things. And she beat me on that stage.
Nice.
Right? So that was, even though she was shooting under match conditions, and she wasn't getting coached during the stage, but after the stage, we talked about this, talked about that. People came in, 'cause she's like, I can't get anything going to the scope, and she had like a Razor 1-6 on there that was not very conducive with all this sort of stuff. So Scott Peterson picked up a Strike Eagle or something off the table and immediately put it on her gun and just got her going. And then, so that's what we're really here to do. Like all the prizes and all the cool and people getting sponsored and all that stuff, I love it. I love all that stuff. But really we're focused on that, the people that shoot like me, that's in, 7th, 8th place, stuff like that. They're just trying to be able to get things better with their gun. Second story is, and I'm going to kind of throw Lloyd under the bus. So
why?
Because you're here, and we've been doing that since 2004. You should have expected it.
It's getting old.
Yeah. No, when Lloyd left the Army, got helping, like you said earlier, got a job at Suns. He's coming to San Antonio anyway, so I reached out to Mike, and I was like, hey, let's, can you guys take care of this dude? And got him on there, and then, like Lloyd said, he came and shot his first QP match, and he did good, right? And he was like, because basically I would be, this is when it came to qualifying in the Army, if I zeroed my own gun, Lloyd would beat me on qualification. If Lloyd zeroed my gun because our boss had me doing something stupid and I never got to zero my gun, if Lloyd zeroed my gun, I would outshoot him, right? So I'm always trying to get him to fucking do the zero on my gun.
Yeah,
he won't do it anymore.
That shit's over. You're on your own.
But anytime you leave the Army, and I spent a lot of time talking about transition, probably any career. I know I only left one career after 20 years, but anytime you leave something after that long, you kind of have that, there's like this little time where you don't really know who you are. You're not that dude no more, but you don't know who the next dude is. So there was some days where I could tell that Lloyd wasn't happy, and then he started shooting QP, and I don't know if it was fully QP, but he keeps coming back to QP. So there was something with QP, with getting back around everybody and doing all these things that kind of helped, and I got to watch that, as he did that transition, and and so QP was part of that, whether it was just the camaraderie or whether it was actually the shooting or it was other things. So gun things with gun friends, and I say that more than our actual company thing, because I don't even remember our company thing right off the top of my head anymore, because I haven't said it in years, and I used to say it all the time, right? It's like, but basically what we started off, we wanted to get like industry dudes mixed up with people that don't get around industry dudes. We're spoiled, right? Because we're sitting here with 2 dudes from Sons of Liberty, with 3 dudes from Big Texas Ordnance, and a dude from Nice Arma. We're used to that. That's what we do, right? Yeah. But for like Chris, who stopped by earlier, Chris didn't realize who anybody was, and he's just shooting the match. So here's this dude that works at Toyota or some fucking place like that just happened to shoot this match, and now suddenly he's hanging out with Big Texas Ordnance and Sons of Liberty and all this stuff just by showing up to a place, right? That's what we started off wanting to do, was get everybody around people like that. But what it's kind of morphed into is gun things with gun friends. It's just like just talk about Christina and with Lloyd and doing all that sort of stuff, and us being here together right here is just, for military dudes, we always talk about that camaraderie, that brotherhood, and and that's all cool, and it sounds fucking hooah and hoorah or whatever rah zib zab fucking thing that Marine Corps guys say, crayon eaters, but that finding that same level of camaraderie is important. It doesn't have to be just because there's a whole bunch of people that Lloyd and I served with that were Army, that everybody's just like, oh, do you miss your Army guys? No, fuck no. I would rather punch those dudes in the face. But there's dudes that I've met through QP and through shooting and through the industry that I would punch somebody else in the face for, right? And so finding people that that camaraderie and gun things, gun friends, just kind of does it. And QP, that's what we want it to do, and that's what we've been steering for 5 years, because it started off, this was my vision over here, and then you guys know from starting a vision, because where you're sitting out with Big Tex right now is not anywhere near what when you first started up, and you're sitting on the couch watching TV, and you're just like, hey, we should, and that sounded super cool. And you're like, yeah, and then you did that, and you're just like, yeah, we could do so much more, right? And it just snowballs. So I'm just super happy that that's where QP landed. And it's continuing to grow from. It didn't land there, and that was the death knell of it. You get that 2 years of it being super cool, and it's going away, and it just continues to grow. And that's just some Lloyd Taylor stuff, other than big spooning on the mountain.
We can leave that out.
Okay,
all right. We can leave that out.
Spirit, I leave that
if
up
it's
there.
cold.
There's one for next time.
Yeah,
That's
next time.
Yeah, we'll save that story for next time.
Guys, we appreciate it. We really do. We will get wrapped up here, because this is probably the latest we've ever podcasted. It's a little after 10 o'clock. We've got an early morning tomorrow, and we've got to do some shooting. And the last thing I'm going to add is, after I thank y'all, is everybody that's out shooting the match is going to have pretty much a better day than everybody who didn't shoot a match tomorrow.
Yeah, they're going to beat everybody.
Everybody that didn't show up. So if you're thinking about it, listen to the podcast, watch the video we're going to put out. That'll be linked in the comments. Get some more information. Reach out to these dudes. They're very approachable. They'll share the info. We'll all share the info.
We'll give you Jack's email address.
Yeah. We'll let you email Jack.
We constantly try to get people to go to matches, and when I started at work, it was just something I always did, and so we just started. At our work, you just bully people into doing stuff.
Pretty much,
so that's basically what we do. We
Yeah.
just bully people into shooting matches. And now we got guys who are going to shoot our local match up at Cedar Ridge, and there's probably going to be 5 or 6 guys that go.
Nice.
But the main reason I think that people don't go to matches is because people's number one fear is not actually speaking in public. It's public embarrassment, and so people don't want to come shoot matches because they don't want to be embarrassed in public. But people who shoot matches are the most inviting, most excited people that you will meet. So if you're on the edge and you're like, oh, I don't have all the gear, I promise you show up to a match without a bag, someone will give you a bag.
Yeah.
And multiple people, as soon as
You'll
you
probably
say,
get bombarded with that.
yeah, as soon as you say, I'm new, they were like, what kind of bag do you need? Do you need a bipod? Do you need this? Do you need that? Hey, you get the Clark after you finish the stage and said, if I could make a suggestion, and then they'll tell you how to shoot the stage after you've already shot the stage.
Yeah.
But if you've ever thought about it, it is, I guarantee you will get better at what you're trying to do faster by shooting a match, because failure is a great educator. And then you will have people with more experience that can tell you what just happened. Because if there's a terrain feature where you've got a dip and you're like, I'm missing over the top, and they're like, nope, you were missing right, it just looks further and blah blah blah, and so if you don't have all the right gear, we were at a match, a dude was there with a 14.5 FSB with an ACOG, and he had a great time. So just show up. If you're worried that you're going to suck, you probably will. We all did. We all had a first match and we all sucked. But get out. We got a guy from work who's showing up. He's got a 16-inch with a 1:8, and he's going to get data in the morning.
That's awesome.
So it is what it is, right? We're going to figure it out. So yes, get out, shoot matches, get involved in the community, make friends, do gun things with gun friends, like-minded people, all those things. I think that's and whatever you do, hold left edge and send it.
Yep.
That's
Do it.
That's the trick, and that's the rule.
Yep.
And I've shot many matches. I'm telling you, many matches. And I'm looking right at the camera. I'm looking at y'all right there. Too many matches.
My first call.
Where I don't know my data at the beep. Like I've got it in my phone. The first beep of the day, and I'm like putting the magazine there. Like, is the shooter ready? And I'm like, yeah, all right, fucking send it. And I'm like, drop the bolt, get on the prop, and I'm like, all right, hey,
Do it live.
the bullet goes, I at least saw where it went. But there's been other days where I'm like, make a correction. Yeah. Bold correction. That's
the biggest
Miss
thing
different.
is like miss differently. Like
Yes.
make big bold
do
corrections.
something different.
Yeah.
That'll be my last thing. I've watched hundreds of dudes, maybe the same dude hundreds of times,
Same.
whatever, and they are
target.
grouping at like 500 on the clock. They're grouping off of the target, and they're doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. Right? Try something different. Go into the wind. Go. Add a little bit of elevation. Just do something. Do it bold. Don't be like, okay, I'm holding 1 mil and I'm going to hold 1.5 mils. Is that enough? No. Go a little bit bold. Get on the other side of the target. Cut that in half. Right? If you see any kind of splash, but try something different.
Yeah.
And you just watch that, and you just watch, dude. Like, and we're paying what, $1 a bullet?
Yeah.
$1.5
at least.
and they're just like buck.
In
And
the same spot.
and that turns into fuck. And they're just like buck, and they just start shooting faster, and it just the
Miss
money
faster.
just is falling out of their wallet and stuff. Right? Try something different. Try to learn out of it. I've shot a whole bunch of stages where there wasn't even a chance of hitting the target, but I was trying to learn something out of the stage so I could get my money's worth out of it. And if I can be like, okay, I figured this out. It doesn't help me today, but I figured this out for next time because there should be another match. There should be a good at. You beat everybody that didn't show up, right? So you were one of 47. And the other thing that we don't do is we don't look at. Everybody talks about overall. Well, there's enough difference in between Lloyd's GP gun. I mean, even with your rifle and practical, right? There's enough difference from your practical gun to my GP gun. Even though our velocities are about the same, you've got enough different scope that's not really a race.
Yeah.
Right. So comparing myself to that guy. Now, if I'm up in the top 3 and I'm GP and that's super cool. But we don't focus on that. We focus on divisions. Like stay inside your division. That's the closest thing because you with the 20 round magazine capacity, I could have a D60 in the gun if I wanted to, and if my wallet could support it, I could basically be cyclic the entire time.
Yeah.
And just be like bop 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 bop, and eventually I would get a hit out of that, and then I'd just go hammer another 60 rounds at it. I could get off 90 seconds. I could get off with a reload. I could probably get off 100, 105 rounds at it. I can't afford to do that. But somebody else buying the ammo, I will definitely test that.
There we go.
Right? But, and that's the thing. Get out there and learn something. Go hammer it. Make some friends. And
Like that's been the biggest thing that I've noticed with QPs. Most of my friends now are all QP dudes. Russo, Travis, Scotty P, all those guys.
Yeah.
And I was standoffish the first couple of matches. Like, I don't know any of these guys. They all look pretty serious. I didn't talk to anybody. And then it was the third or fourth match. I was sitting on the front porch of the cabin by myself, drinking whiskey, smoking a cigarette, or whatever I was doing. And I forget, it was Jace or Eddie. They're like, "What are you doing over there?" I'm like, get your ass over here. And then, you just get introduced to 30 people like that. And now you have 30 more friends. And I talk to those guys all the time.
Fantastic.
And sometimes I look forward more to going to the arena and drinking whiskey when we're done shooting than I do going there to shoot.
Yeah.
So
the price for getting to hang out with them is shooting terribly and being embarrassed and spending a lot of money shooting, and it's worth every fucking penny of it. It's just, and that's that. Now there's some series and stuff like that, and I'm not tooting my own horn because I had nothing to do with this, right? The culture that developed around QP, and it really started out of the arena, and guys like the Whiteheads and Sam and Pat and the people that were hanging out in the early days. That culture of helping one another and having fun and all that sort of stuff is something that we couldn't have ordered that. Like we couldn't have put that in place. That just kind of formed. The AMU guys, Scott Peterson, Tyler Payne, helping everybody out. That helped with that. And that's basically the culture. And even though we go to different places, there's enough people that have shot enough matches now that we would go to someplace new, that culture follows it. Because there's some places that are like, you don't have a game changer, and the dudes are just looking at you like,
sucks to suck, nerd.
Yeah. And they don't even give you the acknowledgement that there's a better way to do that. They're just like, okay, you're done. Get out of the way. It's my turn to shoot. And there's just that error. And the other funny thing is those guys that shoot that way, that have that, and they shoot those other series that have that attitude, when they come around quantified, they don't have a good time. Even though they shot well, they don't have a good time. Because everybody's looking at them what they are as being an asshole.
Yeah.
Because the people that when you have, hey dude, oh, you don't have a thingy, use mine. And like every stage, they're like, my bag is sitting over there. Go pick up the fucking bag and use it on this every time. You don't have to ask me. I'm not using it. You're shooting. I'm not using it, right? But those dudes come to the Quantified Performance match and they're acting like that, and everybody's just like, who the fuck are these dudes? Right, and then they don't feel comfortable because
they stick out like a sore thumb.
Because we're not being assholes, and that's one of the things that, like I say, I couldn't have ordered that, I couldn't have asked for that, and that's something that I'm super stoked about and want to bring around to everybody.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you for your time.
And that's some
see y'all boys in the morning.
Yep.
Thank you for your time. If you're still listening to us, watching, appreciate it. Drop a link in the comment, or drop a comment below. All the links are going to be in the comments below, description on the blog post for this, to QP, to everybody's Instagram that you see here, if they make it public and everything. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And remember, be cool. Don't be an asshole.
And email Jack Luba.
Yeah.
Jack Luba. And we'll see you at SHOT Show.
Yeah.
SHOT Show's coming.
Yeah,
100,
dude.
what, 37 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love the look on everybody's face.